Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Bethany, and today's recipe, I'm gonna show you how to make a perfect roast chicken. I'm gonna share all my best tips and tricks that I've learned over the years on how to get this perfectly cooked and have it be juicy, not dry. So let's get right into it. All right, so the first thing that we wanna do is get our herbed butter sauce ready. I like to do all the prep for the chicken before I get my hands dirty, literally, and touch the chicken and deal with that. So what we're gonna do for our herbed butter sauce, which is gonna give all the flavor, is 1 tablespoon each of fresh rosemary and fresh sage. I chopped this up really fine. Just add that to a little bowl so we can mix everything together. Then we have 3 tablespoons of melted butter. And then 1 tablespoon of olive oil. That's actually gonna help the butter not burn in the oven. Then 1 teaspoon of salt plus 1/4 teaspoon. So 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. We're being generous with the seasoning here because we have to season a whole roast chicken, so we don't want it to be under-seasoned. Then we're just gonna mix our herbed butter sauce ingredients together. Now we're gonna set this aside and move on to the next step. All right, so we finished our herb butter sauce to flavor the outside of the chicken. Now we wanna flavor the pan drippings that are gonna be on the bottom of the chicken. So to flavor those drippings, we're gonna add a nice large yellow onion. And we're just gonna thinly slice this. And then we're gonna add this to our roasting pan. And I just have a regular size roasting pan here that I'm using to roast everything in. Then next, we're gonna cut up 3 to 4 large carrots. I'm just gonna kind of cut these into smaller pieces, but not too small. I'm gonna leave them a little thicker just because they're gonna roast in the oven for a good bit. Some people don't even add anything to the roasting pan, but I think it's a missed opportunity for flavor because you can really use the flavor from the pan drippings to then flavor the chicken at the end as kind of a sauce. So that's why I like to add aromatic type things and vegetables like carrots, onion, celery to really add to the drippings. And on the website, I have celery as an optional choice. You can add to this. I've done it many times. And not only will these season the drippings, but then you can pair the carrots and the onions with the chicken. That's why I love to do that. All right, so we got our chicken out and we have this nice little pasture-raised bird. Mine still has the neck. Never really had that before, but it's a local chicken, so you get what you get. So we still got the neck, but took it out, placed it in here, and this is just under 5 pounds. So this recipe can be used with a chicken that is 4.5 to 6 pounds. If it's more than that, you'll just have to roast it a little bit more, but you can use any size chicken that you want. I also let this chicken sit out at room temperature for just a little bit more so it wasn't super cold. Then we're going to take some paper towels and just dry the whole chicken off. We want it to be nice and dry so that it really takes the sauce that we're putting on. Otherwise, our herbed butter sauce, it's just gonna slip right off of it. So we wanna get it nice and dry. And if you've never done a whole roast chicken, you just wanna make sure the whole process is clean. That's why I prepped everything ahead of time so that we're not touching things and we need to wash our hands 5 million times. We just have everything ready to go. Makes things way easier too. So we dried our chicken. Next, what we're gonna do is separate the skin from the breast. We really wanna be able to get underneath there with our seasoning. So you're just going to tear right in there and then it'll open up. And then you just slip your finger in there. And you just don't wanna tear the skin, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. So we're gonna get in there, and then what you can do is also open up the thigh skin too. Right underneath. Open that up. It's right underneath the chicken here. That's the thigh. And I'm just gonna pat this dry one more time before we put our sauce on. And when you're working with raw chicken, you wanna kind of keep track of what you're touching. I don't like to touch a lot of things. This bowl and this spoon is the only exception, and then it goes right into the dishwasher. So you wanna be really clean when you're working with raw chicken. Then next, we're going to take the herbs and the butter and just push it right underneath the breast skin. just so we can really lock in flavor underneath that skin. You guys, I apologize. I didn't know this chicken had a neck, and it looks a little weird, so just don't look at it if you can see it. All right, next we're gonna flip this thing over, tuck the neck in. Then now we're gonna take some more herbs and butter and just slide that underneath the thigh skin as well, just to really flavor that part of the meat. All right, now that we've flavored the chicken breast and the thighs, we're gonna put the rest of this all over the chicken. All right, so now that we're done with seasoning the chicken, we're gonna put some stuff in the cavity. So we have our halved garlic cloves. We're gonna put that in there. And you always wanna flavor your chicken from the inside out. So we're doing every part of it. Then we're gonna add our halved lemon and our bunched herbs right into the cavity. Now, we can't just put this in the oven because the chicken's kind of hanging out and its arms and legs are all out. So what we need to do is bring everything close in so that it cooks evenly, because the wings will burn, the legs will burn. We don't want that. So everything needs to be close in order to cook evenly. So what we're gonna do with the wings, rather than tying up this whole thing, a famous cook once said that there was so many chickens that looked like they were in bondage while they're being roasted. And this chicken's not gonna be in bondage. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the wings and we're gonna just tuck them up and over, and they will easily tuck in the back. All right, next we're gonna take our cooking twine and we're gonna tie the legs together. Bring that together, and then you can do a figure 8. All right, pull those together like this. There you go. Now I'm gonna wash my hands and we'll get this in the oven. All right, so our chicken is ready for the oven. So we have the oven set at 425. We're gonna roast this uncovered with all the vegetables for about an hour and 15 minutes. And that should be perfect for around 5-pound chicken. If it's closer to 6, maybe another 15-20 minutes. And you want the internal temperature on the thickest parts of the chicken, typically the breast and the thigh, to be 165. That's when you know it's done. All right, so the chicken is done. So even though the chicken is fully cooked, it's still not ready to slice into it, so don't do that, or you're gonna get a dry chicken. What we're going to do next is cover this loosely. So what this is going to do is it's actually going to distribute the juices of the chicken back into the chicken, which is what creates a juicy roast chicken. So this is extremely essential to do. So we'll let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes, just covered with foil. Then we can carve it and serve it. All right, so now that the chicken's rested, we are going to carve it. So I'm gonna put it onto my cutting board, and we're first gonna take our string off of there. Nobody wants to eat that. So if you've never carved a chicken, it's important to know how to slice it, because you can actually lose a lot of meat if you don't know how to properly get everything off. So I'll show you some really simple techniques that I do. So first, you wanna take the thighs and the drumsticks off. So right between the drumstick and the breast, you're just going to cut away that skin, and there's gonna be an opening there, and just keep pulling it back, slice down in there, and then you're gonna see the joint of this. So you can actually flip it over and just pull it away like that. It's a little barbaric, but that's the way you do it. So then you have the thigh and the drumstick. We're gonna put that on our plate. Now we're gonna do the other side. Okay, so there is another thigh and drumstick. Put that on our plate. So you wanna do the drumsticks first, otherwise you can't really get to the breast part. So what we're gonna do is right down the center of the chicken, there's a bone here, and we're gonna cut right along them to the breast. And there you go. Is it perfect? No, but we got most of the meat off, and that's how you properly cut it. So before I was supposed to carve the chicken, I meant to show you my carving knife. This is actually really important. The more roast chickens I made, the more I realized that I needed a carving set, but some of them can be so expensive. And I got this set on Amazon. I will link it in the video description. It was $25, I think, for this set. And it's phenomenal. The knife is super sharp. When you're cutting a chicken and carving stuff, you really want a smaller blade, and a regular chef knife is kind of a little difficult to get into all the nooks and crannies. So link is in the description. And if you did not perfectly cut the breast off like I did, it's not perfect, don't come at me. You can just pull off any of that extra chicken, but we're gonna slice up the breast. And there you go. Looks very nice. You can put the chicken wings on here too. I don't really do the chicken wings because they don't have much on there, but do not throw your bones away. And if you do, I hope you see my face in the trash can looking at you saying, do not throw your bones away, because you can make the best chicken stock ever with this. So if you need a chicken stock recipe, I'll leave mine in the video description. I actually use my roast chicken bones in that recipe and the carcass to make a really delicious chicken stock. It's so easy. You let it simmer all day and it's delicious. Typically, people would see this as trash, but if you're a cook or a chef, you see it as an ingredient. So don't throw it out, I'm watching you. So Drew is here to taste, but I didn't get rid of the carcass because I forgot to show you the little oyster that a lot of chefs call it.
Oyster?
So right on the bottom, there's two little, I don't know what they are, but they're called the oyster. And you just pull them out, and that's for the chef or the cook. So, and then you can have one. It's like a super tender part of the chicken.
Thank you.
So.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna taste some of this delicious chicken breast. Very excited to try it.
Smells amazing. Get some extra
So good.
Juice. Wow, that looks amazing.
Delish.
Amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing.
Really, I've made this countless times. Every time comes out perfect. Sometimes, obviously, with a bigger chicken, have to cook it longer, but it's always perfect, always flavorful. So
that flavor is perfect. The herbs come through so much, and I think because you put everything under the skin, just really makes it come to life.
Yeah.
And it's super moist, which is what you want.
Yes.
Not dried out at all.
No, nobody wants a dried chicken.
No, definitely not.
So yeah, actually one time I forgot to mention earlier that we were making this during a winter snowstorm, and I'd put it in the oven, and this needs like an hour and 15 minutes, and it was in for like 30 minutes, and our electricity went out, all our power went out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making a whole roast chicken, like this needs to be cooked. And I just was like, don't touch the oven. And so I just let it sit in the hot oven, and we did have a roast chicken for dinner.
I totally forgot about that.
In the dark. We were like, what the heck are we gonna eat for dinner?
Yeah.
But I just didn't touch the oven, and it cooked. So, and we didn't die from
That's right.
food poisoning, so.
The oven stayed hot enough.
It was fully cooked. Yeah.
It was amazing.
And we had dinner in the complete dark with, I think, a flashlight and maybe a candle. So, yeah, but
that was the best.
That's a memory we have with this recipe. If you guys need a smaller Thanksgiving meal or holiday meal with friends or just a loved one, if you're not having a big gathering, roast chicken is perfect. It's also just perfect for the season. So it's actually a really easy dinner. It just feels a little bit fancy and elevated because it's a whole roast chicken. So you can have it for a weeknight meal or as a fancy dinner night, but really any occasion. But if you're doing, like I said, a small holiday gathering, it's perfect for that. All right, well, I hope you guys get to try this recipe. And if you do, feel free to let us know in the comments or on our website. You can leave a review. We appreciate it. And as always, we'll catch you on the next recipe.